welcome back to my channel. Today I'm actually going to be doing a sewing video because I felt inspired to. So basically I'm going to be making this shirt today. It's basically just a semi-tight polo shirt. I'm really excited to try it out because I was at a secondhand store and I bought this scarf for about 10 or 20 kroner I think. And as you guys can see, it has like different types of mixed nets to it. Originally from G-Net Tricot, but I bought it really cheap and I thought I'd use it as a fabric and make something out of it. So hopefully this is going to turn out to look like a turtleneck sort of thing with different types of mesh fabrics on them. I have always wanted to have a mesh long sleeve shirt and I don't have one, and I realized that I can just make this, which I bought at 10 kroner, and I think I bought a pattern for maybe like 50 or so kroner, maybe more, 70. So I think this is going to be a cheap alternative and it can definitely be thrifted, and it's so easy to find like different scarves, and especially like this kind. And it's also a really simple model, and it's also one you can copy from something else. So if you want to copy one of your shirts or your polo shirts that you already have that's not meshed or something like that, then you can watch With Wendy's Clone Your Clothes video up in the cards right now. And if you check that out, you'll be able to make your own pattern as well. So let's just get started. So first we're just going to start off by laying out all the pieces on the fabric, and as you guys can see it is very different, so you want to think about how you want to put the pieces together and where you want the different mesh fabrics to meet, if you want them to meet so that they match up on your sides or on your shoulders and that kind of thing. But obviously that's like more advanced stuff. I'm not really thinking about that, I'm just keeping it in mind. I am needling the patterns on the fabric and just cutting them out. I started off with the back piece and then I did the arm, the other arm, front piece, and lastly the color. I'm going to start with sewing the front and back pieces shoulders together. So you want to first lay the front piece and the back piece right sides together, and I'm just going to pin that in place before I start sewing. Now, all sewing machines are different, but for mine, I want to put it in the zigzag stitching, and I want it to be about 0.5 in tightness, so it's very thickly stitched together, and I don't want it to be so wide. I am using this stitch because it's the same that the mesh fabrics were sewn together with, so that they all match and it looks coherent. First, tried it on a scrap piece of fabric, and then I sewed together the shoulders. So now we're going to sew together the arms. The arms are actually equal, so you don't need to think about which one needs to be on the right side and the left side, but your pattern might be different, so you might want to think about that. As you could see, I started out pinning the top of the shoulders, the one that meets the seam that we just sewed, and then I work my way down from that all the way to under the arms. Make sure that you've actually needled the sleeve right side together with the right side of your body piece. I'm just going to sew that together using the same stitch, and then we're going to be doing the exact same thing on the other side. Pin the second arm and sew it together as well. Please feel free to comment below if you feel like any of the steps are unclear or if you have any questions. Now that we've basically sewn the whole front piece and the back piece with the arms together, we're just going to have to sew the sides from your wrist all the way down to your hips together. So you want to fold the fabric over, right sides together, and then you want to start pinning the fabric from the armhole because that's where the seams meet, so you make sure those meet, and the ones at the wrist, and then any other places that you want, for example the mesh fabrics, to meet exactly so that they become inlined as well. Now comes the slightly tricky part, so you're gonna have to sew the collar. You want to put the collar right sides together so that when you sew them and pin them together, it becomes a tube. Make sure that you can actually fit your head through before you start sewing. Okay, so now comes the part where you actually have to think a little bit. You want to turn the turtleneck right side around so the seam is on the inside. You want to do the same with the bodice piece so that it is the right way around and also the seams on the inside. When you put the turtleneck in, the right side of the turtleneck should be on the wrong side of the bodice. When I start pinning the middle front and the middle back first. Then where the shoulder seams are, and then I just fill in the middle with loads of needles to pin it in place. And then just sew these two pieces together along the edge. Once you're done sewing, you want to take the turtleneck out of the shirt and turn it up so that it is the wrong side around. Then you want to fold the turtleneck over so that the two wrong sides are facing each other and the right side of the turtleneck is facing out. Before you sew this in place, now you want to fold the outer edge of the turtleneck inwards so that the finish looks nicer. You want to pin this in place, making sure that the inside of the turtleneck and the outside edges where the turtleneck meets the shirt are aligned. And since this is a mesh top, you can actually see through, which makes it much easier. This also means that when you're sewing the turtleneck in place, it looks nice both on the inside and the outside. That is everything for this tutorial. I'm not going to finish the bottom seams or the hand seams because I think the fabric doesn't fray, and so I think this way is going to look cooler. So I hope you guys liked following me while I was sewing this from scarf to mesh shirt turtleneck. I really liked the end result and it was really nice. Lastly, I'm going to throw you guys 3 different looks using garments that all have plaid fabrics, and the first one is one that I have thrifted from Amsterdam and it's made out of wool. It looks like a skirt but it's really short. It's awesome. The second one is something I made myself from fabric using a pattern. The third one is a skirt that I had bought at H&M for quite a cheap price on sale. So I hope you guys all enjoy these 3 looks. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!